This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright souls. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. And I am going to jump right into the topic for today, and that is the process of spiritual refinement. And I wanted to bring this up today because it is vitally important that you recognize and surrender to the refinement process if you want to continue to grow and go to the next stage of your evolution. Oftentimes what I see is people feeling victimized, or woe is me, or why does this happen to me? Instead of understanding that this is part of the process so that you can then experience all of the good that you are desiring. So refinement is a process of making something better by making small changes. If you look up refine in the Webster Dictionary, you will see that it is to free from impurities or unwanted material. Another definition is to improve or perfect by pruning or polishing. You, my friend, are being pruned and polished because you have chosen to get better. You have chosen the path of enlightenment. And the only way for you to get better is to go through this process. Think about it. I can use a lot of examples, but if you've ever desired to run a marathon, I haven't, but I understand the marathon process because I have a lot of friends who have done that. They don't just sign up and go run the marathon. No, there's a program in place to prepare themselves physically and mentally to be able to accomplish that marathon. So it is a gradual process. So they have to make changes. They've got to do the work. They've got to get there. And so by the time the big marathon comes, they're ready for it and it doesn't wear them out. And we are no different. Think about gold. Gold is melted down to be shaped into something beautiful. It's a refinement process. Spiritual refinement is no different. And this is where the lessons come in. This is where you start to become more aware. You notice the people, the red flag people and the situations, they still show up. But it's how quickly do you notice it and how quickly do you say no and move on? You know, the trials are going to come. So a lot of times I will work with people and they'll say, I thought I healed that and it keeps coming back and God is punishing me and all of this woe is me disempowering nonsense. No, you are being refined. So the only way that we know if you actually got the lesson is if it comes up again and you pass it. The lessons are going to come up until you pass it. Once you pass it and a couple of curveballs will get thrown in, you'll think you're done. And then it'll come again and you'll go, whoops, that's familiar. Nope, not going to do that. I'm going to now use the information and the knowledge that I have, and I'm not going to go down that path. Then it goes away. Eventually it'll go away. And this has been my experience and the experience of those who I work with. The other thing is when we are experiencing trials or refinement, when a situation comes up, if you think back to something you were introduced to or something you've been studying, the answer is usually given before the test. And I would actually venture to say it's always given before the test because we aren't given things that we don't have the knowledge or the access to the knowledge to move through. We're not given things that we can't handle. We can handle it. Everything in life is about how you respond to it. It's what the choices are that you're going to make to move through it. You can sink and feel sorry for yourself and be angry and blame and be a victim, or you can rise to the occasion and say, this is part of my refinement process, spiritually and otherwise, and I'm going to choose the best feeling thought and the best path, and it's all about your perspective, which you get to choose. You get to choose the perspective. And so I wanted to jump on here and say that. Also, it's never done. As long as we're living, we're here to experience and grow. So it isn't like you're going to get to one level and then you're done. That would be really boring. We came here to learn and grow, develop, evolve. So the refinement process is ongoing. There's always a new level to go to. And when you recognize that, it can become exciting for you. It can become almost like a game. Because I will say recently, I had a situation where as some things came up that I needed to address. And in the past, I would just ghost. I wouldn't say anything. Or I would just disappear, like quit talking to the person. I would shut down. This is years ago, but I'm not there anymore. So what I did instead is I actually just addressed it and said, these things didn't sit right with me. And this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. This is how I feel about this. And I'm being very honest. I'm being upfront. I'm in my integrity. I'm in the light. I'm doing God's work out here, friends. And so are you. And you know what I consider God's work to be? Illuminating the path, speaking truth, walking the walk. These aren't just things that I'm throwing out here. I'm not preaching to the choir, air quote. I live it. And this is why when people get caught up in religiosity and they'll say, oh, I don't know about that work you do because in my religion, I think to myself, but are you walking the walk? Because my light speaks for itself. The way that I move, the way that I treat people, the way that I am in integrity, that is the walk of a spiritual being, regardless of a religion. Sometimes people want to box themselves in. And I look at the fruit of their labor and the fruit of their life, not in a judgmental way, but I'm trying to see, are we in alignment? Because if I'm not claiming a religion, but I am generous, I am in integrity, I am kind, I am serving, I am honest. And integrity is doing what's right when no one's looking. So I'm doing all of those things that are in every religious text. But you, on the other hand, are hiding and being sneaky and lying and not being integrity. Who is walking the walk here? Not in a judgmental way, but I'm saying, are we aligned? Because you can't just hide under a label without doing the work. And that's in all walks of life. You've got to do the work. And I'm okay to be refined because that is the only way I get better. And I'll tell you, after I spoke my truth, I felt like $2,000 million multiplied by whatever. I slept amazing. I felt the hugest rush of divine energy flowing through me because I'm doing what is in alignment with what I'm here to do. And I'm learning my lessons and I'm actually walking the walk. And the more you do that, the stronger you get. Now, I know there's going to be other stuff come up because that's the way this works. But every time that happens, I know I'm closer. So that's how I look at it to help me recognize that that next level is near and that this is part of it. And I actually feel very grateful that I would even have the opportunity to continue to walk this path and to continue to be a vessel of divine service and divine love and divine light. And the more that I listen to those callings, the easier it becomes, the brighter I become, and the better my life gets. And I just wanted to encourage you with that today. But let's go into a healing. So you can uncross your arms and legs, focus on your breathing. okay, and so it is. Friends, I hope that helped. I know this is a quick podcast today, but for me, I choose quality over quantity, and it doesn't have to be long to be effective and powerful. And I want to thank you to everyone who has taken the time to leave me a review and sent me donations. Oh, I so appreciate it. And I want to thank you for showing up and being here and being such a light and supportive presence on this planet. I am wishing you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.